The National Youth Violence Prevention Resource Center defines youth fighting as 2 or more teens who have chosen to use physical force to resolve a conflict or an argument. Think about this definition as we move through this talk, because my work in Baltimore City has began to get me to think about fighting not just for a reason for conflict, but fighting as a way young people are sort of, in some ways, dealing with decision-making and stress and how they get it out. And I think this, if we only live with this as our definition, conflict resolution as a use for fighting, we might miss out some of the underlying issues that we need to be considering when it comes to fighting and youth violence. Fighting is something that happens in early adolescence. We have some data that suggests it could be up to 50% of young people in a community, 6th grade to 8th grade, say that they've been in one fight in the last year. That number should die down to under, well under 15% by the time they're in the 11th grade. What I want to say is that we tried to look at this home, neighborhood, and school fighting behavior. Proportionally, it wasn't very different, but what we did see is 41% of young people in both of these schools reported that they were in a fight in the last school year. But what's interesting about this 41% is that the same year, this is middle schools, using the middle school YRBS, the proportion of youth who said they fight were 63% in Washington, D.C. The lowest proportion was 35% in Rhode Island. Our 41% was right in the middle. So I'm talking about schools on probation for persistently dangerous designation. The main kind of violence that a young person does, and these young people aren't doing any more than any other person that's fighting. It's how it's being recorded, it's what's happening in the school and how they're handling the issue of fighting that we discovered was going on with this definition of persistently dangerous schools. And what does it mean to be going to this school that's always being on the news and being told that you're in the persistently dangerous school? Labeling something persistently dangerous didn't do anyone any good, but I think it also made school districts start to come up with strategies where they were just dealing with this designation and not necessarily dealing with what it meant to help young people navigate conflict in the issue of violence in their real lives. We have to think about overall violence exposure. I know that's nothing new and that's not something that we've just thought of on our own, but the realization in the last few years for us in this work is that we spend a lot of time talking about conflict resolution without talking about this greater context. And the statement that I made in a meeting not too long ago is that we're working with the Band-Aid that we have, and we need a different Band-Aid.